Welcome back to another edition of the Pagcast. I'm your host, Michael Pagani, joined alongside UMD Bulldogs commit Max Plant. Max, welcome to the Pagcast. Thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
My first question to open up this interview is just how have you been doing recently?
I've been really busy actually. Since I got home, our team went on a little trip after our tournament and then came back home to Hermantown for a couple days. Left for Buffalo for the NHL Combine. That was a really good time seeing my teammates again and guys I played against. And then the last couple weeks, all the future Bulldogs were in town, guys that have been on the team the last couple years. It's been a great couple weeks getting to know the guys and yeah, so I've been really busy trying to schedule this podcast with you.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that we were able to figure out a time that worked out for both of us. And just going off that NHL Combine, like, was that must have been really cool to get invited to it and to really compete against your teammates.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, a lot of talking, a lot of not really playing hockey, for a whole week. But yeah, it was really cool just to like meet guys that you like read about, and then just hang around with guys that you're gonna be playing with in the future and guys that you played with in the past. So yeah, it was a really cool experience.
Was there really anything that surprised you about the Combine?
Um, Nothing really that really surprised me other than like maybe the looseness of it. Like it was kind of cool. Like every day I would just like me and a bunch of guys would be sitting down and like in the concourse playing ping pong. And then there's just like an NHL GM walking by you, right? And it's like that's pretty cool.
They're
Like
taking
one day
notes in
I'm
your
walking,
ping pong game.
yeah, like one day I'm walking by and there's like a GM playing with like a scout ping pong right in front of me. And it was like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, like you said, it's very loose. It's which is
Yeah,
kind of cool, right? It's just a
yeah,
relaxed event. You're there to work out essentially.
yeah. You're there for everyone to get to know you a little better. And then the last couple days you do the testing and stuff and it gets down to it. But yeah, it was fun.
Was there any kind of testing that you could have prepared for beforehand?
I mean, I did a run through of all the tests. I didn't really go super hard on everything before I went, but just to know what I was doing. I felt like I did pretty good on most of the tests. Yeah, I did well. And other than like maybe the grip strength, I could work on that one a little bit. But yeah, I thought like my speed, my jumping, and then my VO2 was pretty good too. So yeah, it was pretty good.
Were there any, because obviously you're meeting teams and GMs and scouts. So was there any like weird interview that you had to do?
Um, I didn't really have any specifically weird ones. I thought they were all pretty smooth. Just kind of being myself in them. But yeah, like there's been talks about like Utah and how like they ask like those funny questions about like Uber rating and stuff, and I didn't
Yeah.
know what the Uber rating was, so I just said I don't know. And then like the snap score thing, and then but yeah, like interesting questions, but like you got, I mean, just got to answer them like honestly. And then
Yeah.
Montreal was probably the one that probably maybe got my blood going a little bit. That's like probably a normal thing for everybody. They kind of dig into you to see what you're all about, but yeah, they were all good to me, and I had a very fun time there.
So you did interview with Utah and Montreal?
Yep.
I mean, Utah's question was pretty kind of crazy to me. Like Uber rating and snap score. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess it's with today's kind of kids, right? Obviously, they're on social media and stuff and
Yeah.
whatnot. But yeah, it's really interesting. And then with Montreal, I heard that like they're asking about, what mythical creature that you would be on and off the ice. I heard
Yeah.
Tisha Ginla said he wanted to be a unicorn, I think,
He
or
said,
something like
yeah,
that.
he said something like that.
A Pegasus,
A
if I remember.
Pegasus. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
even know what a
yeah.
Pegasus is, but that's yeah.
Yeah, I got no idea, but that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like all in all that it was kind of a fun event.
Yeah.
What are you focusing on this off season?
For me, hockey wise, I'm focusing a lot on becoming a better goal scorer, like finding areas, working on my shot, and then just shooting the puck more. In the past, I've always kind of been a pass first guy, but I feel like if I could add more of that scoring threat, that'll make my game better as a whole, and then my skating, like edge work and getting in and out of stuff quicker. So
Have you been following along with these NHL playoffs?
yeah, yeah. Actually, I've been kind of like I've been watching the games with guys sometimes, so maybe it's harder to focus, but the last game I thought was one of the best games I've ever seen in my life.
It was insane. Oh my God.
Unbelievable.
I thought like at one point I'm like, is Florida gonna make this comeback? And
I
then
know.
it's
I
like,
thought they
no,
were gonna
Oilers are
have to.
dominating.
It was so good. Like McDavid was going, obviously, but then once like I felt like that was the best Kachuk's played all playoffs. So once he got going, it just felt like it was just, yeah, it was a special game. I'm really excited for tonight. So
Yeah, I mean, game six, it's in Edmonton. They have to stave off elimination again, right? Like,
yeah,
are they gonna do it? Like,
yeah.
is
I mean,
Florida actually gonna do this?
I'm cheering for Edmonton. So
Oh, really?
yeah, I am.
Wow.
So I want to see like I always like to root for the best players. I feel like they
Yeah.
deserve to win. And McDavid, I mean, he's obviously the best player in the world. So
I
I
mean,
want to
we've
see
seen Crosby win. We've seen Ovi win.
maybe if
McDavid's next in line.
Draisaitl can help him out. I feel like he's maybe got a couple in him tonight. They steal game 6, and then I just feel like if they go back to Florida, anything could happen. So
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen in a game seven. Like, that's the
yeah,
scariest thing,
oh
right?
yeah. And
Because you
I
had
mean,
3-0, dude. 3-0.
I
Oh
know
my God.
Stanley Cup final too.
Oh, this would ruin this might ruin Kachuk's legacy. Because like they just got like washed last year. It was a wash. Vegas dominated. And
Yeah,
then this year it's like, okay, like Kachuk, like buddy, you're up 3-0. What
they've
else
been
could you
there.
want?
They've been there. They need one win. They got the goalie. They got yeah.
They
I
got the
don't know.
defense. Like
And then
what?
one guy comes in and beats them. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll
That's
see.
that's just how hockey works, right?
I'm excited. Yeah, that's why they play the games.
So getting into your story, who influenced you to get into hockey?
Growing up, I've been around hockey kind of my whole life. My dad, coached for UMD when I was growing up, and then my grandpa coached for hometown team Hermantown High School. So I guess just kind of being around hockey. I have two brothers too. My older brothers drafted to Pittsburgh, and then my younger brother's actually going to the national team next year.
Oh
But just
wow.
growing up, yeah, but just growing up playing hockey, with them in the backyard, and then growing up going to school together. Then every day after school, we'd go to the rink and just play on the outdoor rink, just hockey, hockey, hockey. So I mean, I've never really had the feeling of like not wanting to play hockey. Like I'm really passionate about it, and it's the thing I like to do. So
Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs. You bet we are. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the playoffs, and you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings, the number one place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you just bet $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-77777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. There must have been some insane mini stick battles then.
oh yeah, there still is.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so
Yeah,
awesome. Because I
yeah,
remember I remember just inviting my friends over for sleepovers. The amount of mini stick battles that we had, insane.
oh yeah, I mean, most of the time growing up, someone would end up crying at some point.
Yeah.
If my mom came downstairs, that was never good because she didn't like us to play because then we'd be yelling at each other and stuff. But yeah, we had some good battles. Even on the outdoor rinks, we've had some good battles. So it's been really fun. We're really all very competitive and we hate losing. So I think that's the way to do it.
So with your younger brother joining the national team, like, are you gonna have a chance to play with him?
No, so next year going to Duluth. Um, me and my older brother will play together at Duluth.
Okay.
But then my little brother's going same coaching staff I had last year
Oh, wow.
at USNTDP.
Yeah.
So it'll be like having another plant there. And so
Yeah. That's
he's really
sick.
excited. He's had a really good last couple of years playing for the Chicago Mission. So
Yeah,
he's
that's
really
a
excited to
great
get into
program,
it
I've
again.
heard.
Oh yeah, they won the national championship last year, so
Yeah, no big deal.
no big deal.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
he's kind of on top of the world right now.
Your dad was a cup champion in 99 with the Stars.
Yep.
Like, what does your dad tell you about that run that they went on?
He just said it was super special. Like he got traded at like the deadline from Buffalo actually.
What?
So he played like the first 4 or 5 years of his career in Buffalo
Oh my
and got traded
God.
at the deadline. And then he happened to be playing Buffalo in the finals.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they beat Buffalo. So yeah, it's kind of
That's
crazy.
wild.
So maybe if he was still in Buffalo, they would have won the championship. But
Yeah, and now they're without playoffs for 14 years.
yeah,
How things could have turned
I
around.
know.
He was also a Hobie Baker finalist, actually,
Yep.
which is huge,
He
right?
had a really good year too. Yeah, this just happened that Paul Korea, um, that was his year. So
When you hear about the things that your dad accomplished, like how much motivation does that add to your game personally?
just like knowing that like if he can do it, like I can like set challenges for myself to try and like follow in his footsteps. Obviously, like he was a great player and he accomplished so many great things and it'd be really hard to do, but just having him like tell me things that I can work on and just being by my side all the time is it's really cool.
And how big of an addition is it to have him as a coach at UMD?
Yeah, well, actually, he's not coaching there anymore,
Mm.
but yeah,
I apologize.
he's
That's my
actually
bad.
he's an assistant coach for the Chicago Blackhawks now. But he did
Oh,
when I committed to UMD, he was coaching there.
okay.
So you got it right. But yeah, he got the job with Chicago 2 years ago. That's actually why my brother moved to Chicago to play for the Mission.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so that was kind of a tough deal for him. It was up to him if he wanted to go there, if he wanted to stay back here in Minnesota. But yeah, and then he's coached the last couple years in Chicago. Coach Bedard this year, and then but yeah, me and my brother going in together will be really cool.
That is going to be so cool.
Yeah,
So, how has your younger brother dealt with that big move, moving from Minnesota to
yeah.
Chicago?
I think he dealt with it pretty good actually. I mean, he last year he went to all the Blackhawks games and he hung out with Patrick Kane Sr.
Oh,
and
what?
so he's good friends with him. He's got his phone number and everything.
That's so dope.
Um,
That's so sick.
so yeah, he's like good friends with him, so which is really cool. And then obviously this year they had Bedard in town, so Victor would shoot pucks with him sometimes. But yeah,
And obviously, that always helps, like getting to train with and getting to watch
oh
with
yeah,
Bedard.
oh yeah, just to be able to be in town with all the exciting stuff going on in Chicago, and he's had some great friends in the Chicago Mission team, and yeah, he really enjoyed it, I think.
Well, they have some absolute young studs coming up in their pipeline. I mean, Frankie Nazar already made his debut with them this year. He's
Oh
going to be
yeah,
an absolute stud for them. I can't wait for that.
oh yeah,
You have so like we've been kind of talking about with you having two brothers. I assume you guys push each other a lot in
yeah,
training. Yeah.
yeah, pushing each other all the time, whether it's early morning skates and we're battling against each other, or just like in the weight room. Like if I pull out like say I pull out like a 70-pound dumbbell, my brother will want to take out a 75-pound dumbbell. Like just little competitions here and there. So
With you being from Minnesota, I assume like were the Wild your favorite team growing up? Was it the Stars?
yeah. So growing up, my dad actually before he was a coach for UMD, so I was coach, and then he was really busy and stuff, so he wanted maybe a little leisure job, so he worked player development with Chicago. So
Okay.
I was kind of a Chicago fan, but my favorite player growing up has always been Brad Marchand, so I'm a fan of the Bruins, Chicago, and then the Wild because they're hometown team too. But
You're going out there licking people?
no, but I love the way because growing up I was always a smaller guy, and I loved the way he
Yeah.
played and how he just handled everything, and he's just like a true professional. But I mean, he does some shady stuff too, which a lot of people hate, but I think the fact that he just embodies it and just doesn't care is pretty special.
He just played with an edge.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys where it's like you hate playing against him, but you love him when he's on your
Oh yeah.
team.
I bet everyone loves him too. He's definitely a funny guy.
Is that kind of someone you wanted to model your game after then?
I mean, yeah. I love watching him play and I want to play like him, but he's obviously special in the way his edge work is, and he probably shoots it more than me, but player I've said I model my game after is kind of like a Claude Giroux or Jake Gensel. The
Okay.
way they play pretty smart and fast. Um, but yeah, if I could start scoring more goals, I feel like I could be just like Jake Gensel.
So the Golden Gophers and the Bulldogs have a kind of
Yeah.
big in-state rivalry.
You want to say hi to
Uh
my brother? He's in
oh,
here.
sure, yeah, you can come on. I
Who's that?
uh
Yeah, was on a podcast. Yeah.
But yeah, so with the Golden Gophers and the Bulldogs, right? They have a huge rivalry. I can only assume. Like, what's that going to be like to play a game?
Yeah,
Just
we play. Yeah, we played two home games this year, in Duluth. So I'm really excited. That's probably one I'm really looking forward to. And I got a couple of teammates that are on that team from last year's team. Just the big rivalry that Minnesota Duluth have always had.
mhm.
Uh, I mean, it's every time we play each other, it's sold out. We got a big freshman class coming in, so everyone in Duluth is really excited for the future, and hopefully we can make an impact on the team. So,
Did you go to any of the games growing up between the
oh yeah,
Bulldogs and oh
oh
yeah.
yeah.
I'm
I
sure
used
it's
to,
just like packed house. Like it kind of
yeah,
like you get just like nerves thinking about it in a sense.
yeah. If they played in Duluth at the Amsoil, I'd go to those games, and even if they played in Mariucci downtown, I'd go to those games too. So I'd make the trek if wherever the game was.
And then you get to actually play in it. Like that's so cool,
I
right?
know
Like you're
it's
growing up like as a young
yeah,
kid, and now you fast forward like 12 years later, you're actually gonna play in it.
yeah. Like even I've been working out down in Duluth at the Amsoil, and it doesn't even feel real because I used to kind of go in there when my dad was coaching and be like, these guys are so cool. Like I want to be like one of them someday. And now I'm like putting on the Bulldog like workout clothes and I'm working out in the gym and I just feel like it's not really real. And yeah, it's really special.
Hey, Pagcast listeners, let's talk about game time. I love watching hockey live. It's the chill of the ice, it's the atmosphere, and I know that going to Buffalo Sabres games, I can find the cheapest ticket on Game Time. Also, for you non sport lovers, Game Time has tickets for all events, concerts, and shows, not just sports. Game Time has rolled out a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I love how easy Game Time is to use. You can follow your favorite teams and you can easily search through the great deals on the app and even the website. I love the all-in pricing, like I just mentioned. You can toggle that feature, which shows you the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout, and also the seat views. You can get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. It saves you the hassle of going to a different website. Game Time provides you with those two options and even more. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code THPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. It's almost official, right?
Yeah.
Can't wait for September when training camp starts
Oh
rolling
yeah.
around. October comes, and it's like it's puck drop. It's ready to go.
Yeah, I got to worry about a little bit of schooling now, but yeah, I'm really excited to get going on the hockey piece.
Before joining the National Development Program, you played with Hermantown High. What are you going to remember from playing with Hermantown High?
Just the fact that we ended on a high note. The last game I ever wore the sweater, we won a state championship. I got to do it with my brother and all my buddies that I grew up with. So that was really special and just our Hermantown's really known in the state of hockey for being a hockey team. Um, and just being a part of that, and growing up and having them develop me into the player I am today, it's been really special.
How did they get you ready for your future?
Just the open outdoor rinks all the time, and just like all the rink staff and how much they've helped like me, and like whenever I need ice, I can just skate and I can just do whatever I want. And the coaches have been unbelievable and so supportive of me. And when I went to NTDP, it was kind of a tough decision to leave my hometown behind. And obviously, it's such a good place here in Hermantown to play hockey. Uh, but yeah, I owe pretty much all my success to growing up in Hermantown.
What was that state championship final game like? Was it kind of an overtime close game? Was it more of a blowout?
Yeah, we played War Road. I don't know if you know where that is, called Hockey Town, USA. We won 3-2 actually. Not in overtime, but uh yeah, 3-2, tight game. And actually Jason Shagabe, who will be my teammate next year, he was on that team. And
That's sick.
yeah, it was a special game. My brother scored 2 goals.
Oh, sick. I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's cool when your older sibling kind of gets in and chips in on the score sheet.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How come you decided to play with the National Development Program instead of going to the USHL, for example?
Well, yeah, I got offered to go to Chicago Steel, which my brother was there at the time. But I just felt like national team, I just couldn't turn it down. The way they've developed players and their strength training program, and just being with a bunch of guys my age that are going to push each other every day to get better. And I don't regret my decision at all. I thought it was like the 2 best years of my life. So yeah, that's how I made the decision.
I mean, they've been developing so many star players: Cole Caulfield, Matthews, Zegras, Bobby Brink. I'm pretty sure it's like the list goes on and on
Oh
of
yeah.
the players and kind of like the professionals that you become going through that program.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously going into the program, they're all the best players, but I think just being against a bunch of type A hockey players that are going to push each other every day, I think it just makes them even better.
You first represented USA internationally at the U17s. What did that experience mean to you to put on that USA sweater?
Yeah, it was really cool just to like suit up against other countries. And we won the tournament too. We kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't say dominated, but we beat everyone pretty good in that tournament. Um, Especially we probably played together a little bit before everyone else, but yeah, that was definitely a special time. And I didn't score any goals in the tournament. I had a bunch of assists, but yeah, it was good.
How important is it to kind of establish that chemistry beforehand, before that tournament, where you're kind of going into that international tournament and you already have your line set? Like you kind of
Yeah.
know the play style of everyone on your team. It's a huge bonus.
Yeah, I think it helps us and it helps our coaches knowing like the guys that are going to be put in certain situations and the guys that are going to be playing with each other. So, tendencies of your teammates, and you like each other, so you want to play for each other. So,
So James Hagens is expected to go top three next year's draft. What's it like to play with a guy like him?
oh yeah, he's special. He's a special talent. He's the kind of guy that, um, the puck just seems to find him. The puck just seems to be on his stick all the time. And he's so good at keeping the puck on his tape and creating plays for his teammates and guys around him.
How beneficial is it to essentially have the same group from U17 to U18 to kind of help that continuity?
Yeah, just being with each other and like creating relationships, right? Just being around each other all the time, knowing like every little detail about everyone's life. I might not be good sometimes, but it bonds you together. And yeah, I think that's what national program does. Like everyone's the same age, and you grow up with each other technically. I mean, everyone's going through everything for the first time. And yeah, I'd say if someone's watching this ever has the chance like to go to the national team, I know it's pretty rarely if you do, like you're part of a special group of people. But I would not turn it down because it turns you into it creates a special bond that you might not be able to create with anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. It's kind of like a brotherhood in a sense.
Oh yeah.
It
Like you
really
can go
like
on
that.
other
Oh, sorry.
teams. Yeah, you can go on other teams and like obviously you're gonna be tight with them, but I think the fact that everyone like going to the program is going through it all for the first time at the same time, I think that's what's special about it.
You were named assistant captain for Team USA at the U18s. What did it mean for you to earn that kind of level of captaincy?
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool that my teammates wanted to vote me for that. Obviously, wearing a letter doesn't really mean everything. I think everyone can be a leader in their own way. But yeah, it was definitely a special thing.
What will you take away from that U18 tournament?
Just the fact that you can push so hard, you can be so close, and just little details. And there's some things aren't meant to go your way, and just the fact that you can now it's just gonna push me to be better and push me to work harder and work on little details of my game and little details of my life that maybe can help me if I ever get put in that situation again to prevail and get on the other side of that.
You kind of got a taste of the Canada USA rivalry. What did it mean for you to play in that kind of big stage game?
Yeah, it was really cool coming into the game. USA Canada, like that's kind of like the two teams that have been bashing back and forth like for a long time. But Canada's probably got the best of the US. But I feel like the US is coming. I feel like the last couple of years, whether it's World Juniors or um, even U18 Worlds, USA's been at the top of the ladder and medaling in most tournaments. So I think USA's here, they're up and coming, and I'm excited for the future USA hockey.
When you got to that U18 camp, what surprised you the most?
Um, I mean, I was really small when I went to the tryout. Is that what we're talking about?
Well, it could be like maybe it's you finding out something you didn't know about yourself. Maybe it's, so a teammate had some sort of like special move in practice. I don't know. It's just like what surprised you the most about kind of going to that camp, experiencing it?
Yeah. I mean, coming into the camp, like I didn't know what to expect because I didn't know if I was gonna say yes to go into the program. What surprised me the most was just how like big guys are and stuff. Um, and yeah, I didn't have the greatest camp, but I think the way that they picked the team was based off of past successes, and I felt like I had a pretty good workload of what I'd done in my hockey career to that point. And they decided to pick me, decided to believe in me, and I'm glad it happened.
How did you find out that you made the U18 Team USA roster?
Yeah. Um, so the U18 world roster is pretty much all development guys that were on the team already, except for maybe a couple other guys. So that wasn't really, but like when I made the U17 team, the first year, I kind of got told like after the last skate, to come up to the office and talk to them, and they offered me, and yeah,
That must be such a cool feeling to get.
yeah, it was definitely a cool feeling. I had to talk to some people about what my decision would be, but the fact that I'd worked so hard and it paid off.
So, like I mentioned before, you're committed to Minnesota Duluth. How come you chose to commit there?
Yeah, it was my dream school. I guess I can't really see myself wearing any other jersey.
I mean, that kind of answers my next question, which was kind of like if you considered other schools, but clearly not, right? Like when
Nope.
it's your dream school, like obviously, no, like duh, obviously
Oh
you're gonna
yeah.
choose it. Your brother Zam is also committed to UMD. Like, did that ever play a factor at all?
Um, I mean, yeah, it'd be really cool to play with my brother, but I think both of us are on the same page where UMD's had really good success in the past. We've watched them win national championships. And yeah, I think if we could be able to do that together, I think that'd be really special.
You're a draft prospect for this summer's draft. How did this season kind of help you prepare for that in any way?
Yeah, I guess that's another benefit to the development program. I guess pretty much everyone on our team is draft eligible this year. So I guess it can get a little bit like this in the locker room where guys can be bashing heads because the draft. But at the end of the day, I don't think the draft really matters. It's just like a little split shot in time. Um, but yeah, it's really cool that I got to play for US during my draft year. I got to meet with teams throughout the year. They come to and talk to a bunch of guys on our team. But yeah, I'd just say there's a lot of work to do before I end up making, if I can make it to the NHL.
Your brother Zam went through this process, drafted by the Penguins. Are there things that you potentially picked up that will help you kind of this time around?
Yeah, I just say pretty much anything he said to me is just be honest, and the team that wants you, the team that believes in you, they'll end up taking you.
I just have a few last questions. My first one is how come you decided to wear number 26?
Well, my dad used to wear 26, and uh, yeah, I guess it's just kind of wanted to be like my dad. He wore 26 in the U.S. sweater too.
Oh, that's
Uh,
sick.
so yeah.
I mean, it kind of works out, right?
Oh yeah, and 26 is a pretty cool number too. So,
Hardest player you've had to defend and why?
um, maybe the last couple days actually we've been scrimmaging in Duluth, and Dominic James, he's gonna be my captain next year at Duluth.
That's sick.
He's a freaky fast, and I'd probably say he's probably been the hardest player to defend so far.
Does it have like pretty good mids too?
Oh yeah, he's a good player.
My last question to you is do you have any advice for younger hockey players?
I just say like if you're passionate about the sport, like put the work in. Like there's some days maybe you won't want to as much, um, but yeah, if you have a passion for something and you want to, if you dream about doing stuff, don't let anyone say anything about like not doing it, or but if it's the thing you want to do and hockey's what you're passionate about, just go out there and have fun, and don't try and make it a job.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank again Max Plant for joining me on today's podcast. Thank you again, Max.
Yeah, thank you very much.